Trapped by nature, betrayed by humans. Caves are like time bombs. They look peaceful, quiet, still, but all it takes is one bad call, one missed sign, and that silence turns deadly. These aren't just natural disasters, they're human failures. Warnings ignored, policies broken, and in some cases, lives thrown away for a paycheck. In southern Thailand, the Nam Talu cave is carved into the limestone cliffs of Khao Sok National Park. To tourists, it looked like a lazy river in a postcard. Waist-deep water, flickering headlamps, and local guides promising an unforgettable experience. And in 2007, that's exactly what a group of 9 thought they were getting. Among them, a 10-year-old boy from Germany, a teenager from the UK, and several Swiss nationals. They entered just after noon. The weather was calm, no rain had fallen nearby, but what they didn't know was that upstream, high in the mountains, rain had already started, and that water was racing toward them. As they moved deeper, water started rising, slowly at first. Then, in a flash, it surged through the tunnels like a freight train. 8 of the 9 were swept away. The only survivor, just a teenager, clung to a ledge for 16 hours completely alone before rescue teams reached her. The boy from Germany didn't make it. Neither did the Thai guides. That should have been the end of it. It wasn't. Frozen in place, mid-air, 8 years after the Nam Talu tragedy, halfway across the world, another rescue would fail. But this time, it wasn't a flood that killed. It was cold. In February 1965, 3 cave explorers, James Mitchell, Hetty Miller, and Charles Bennett, entered a narrow system in the Adirondacks known as Schroeder's Pants Cave. No one warned them that freezing rain the week before had triggered a surge of runoff through the tunnels. Water was pouring through the cave's passages like ice from a broken pipe, but they kept going. Eventually, they reached a shaft known as the gun barrel, a narrow drop nearly 80 feet straight down. Mitchell went first, clipped in, and began his descent. But then he stalled. Something was wrong. He tried going down, then back up. He couldn't move. He was stuck midair. Freezing water over 10 gallons a minute was hitting him straight in the head. He began to shiver, then weaken, then go silent. His friends tried to pull him up by hand for nearly an hour. Nothing worked. Finally, one of them left the cave and called for help. A newly formed rescue team flew in on a military plane. They had gear. They had a plan. But they were too late. Mitchell was already gone. It took 3 full days to widen the shaft and prepare his body for extraction. But just as they began rigging the ropes, the tunnel collapsed. Rocks poured in. The cave was sealed permanently. His body was never recovered. Blood, steel, in a race against the mountain. It was supposed to be a record-setting expedition. The deepest cave system known at the time, Pierre Saint-Martin, twisting through the Pyrenees between France and Spain. The team was experienced. The mission was ambitious. But one mistake turned it into a nightmare. August 27, 1952. Marcel Lubens, a 33-year-old engineer and second in command of the expedition, was being winched out of a vertical shaft more than 1,200 feet underground. He was strapped to a steel cable, inching toward the surface after 6 brutal days of exploration. Then the cable snapped. He fell 130 feet, bouncing down a jagged rock slope and slammed into the base of the shaft. Somehow he survived, but his back was shattered. He slipped into a coma within hours. He was now trapped near the very bottom of the mountain, motionless, unconscious, and barely alive. Still, they tried to save him. A doctor descended by rope, working by candlelight in the damp cold to stabilize him. A blood transfusion was performed underground, an act so extreme it made international headlines. For the next 2 days, they tried to pull him up manually, but loose rocks started collapsing into the shaft. The deeper they pulled, the more unstable it became. Then, after 36 hours, it ended. Marcel Lubens died where he fell, too far to reach, too risky to recover. He was buried not by ceremony, but by the cave itself. They told them to leave the bodies. They refused. Underwater caves are a different beast. No sunlight, no margins for error. And in northern Norway, Pluragrada, nicknamed Jordbruggrada, is one of the most dangerous dive sites on Earth. In 2014, 5 Finnish divers entered the cave system with one goal: to pass through a 420-foot deep submerged tunnel, reach the other side of the mountain, and surface in a dry cave chamber. They were highly trained. Each wore a closed-circuit rebreather, the kind used for extreme depths. The plan was solid until one of them got stuck. Near the bottom, Jari became wedged in a narrow restriction between rock walls. His rebreather began to fail. The space was so tight his dive partner couldn't reach him. Visibility dropped to 0. Water temperature hovered just above freezing. Jari started to panic. His breathing became frantic. His mouthpiece slipped out. His partner tried everything, shoving in a backup regulator, pulling at his arm, but it was no use. If he stayed, he'd die too. So he left. By the time they surfaced, 2 divers were missing. Authorities shut the cave down and declared the bodies unrecoverable. But the team didn't accept that. Weeks later, they returned in secret, against police orders. Over 100 hours, they retraced the deadly route. Visibility was nearly gone. One wrong kick would fill the tunnel with silt. But they found them. Jari's body was still suspended mid-passage, arms frozen in position. Behind him, deeper in the cave, was Kai, who had tried to help and never made it back. Their friends brought them home. No news crews, no medals, just silence and grief. The most avoidable deaths are the ones we repeat. Every one of these deaths had something in common. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't nature being cruel. It was human error. Poor timing, ignored warnings, the belief that it was probably fine. In Thailand, it was flash floods, twice despite official closures. In New York, it was freezing runoff no one warned about. In France, a snapped steel cable in the most dangerous part of the cave. And in Norway, it was a tight passage and a split-second decision that no one should ever have to make. And yet, people still go back. Caves will always be dangerous, but they don't have to be deadly. Most of these deaths weren't about caves at all. They were about overconfidence, shortcuts, and silence. The kind of silence that gets louder after something goes wrong. We tell ourselves we've learned, that safety protocols are better now, that no one would make the same mistakes again. But then the next season rolls around, the money flows in, and someone decides to risk it just this once. And just like that, it happens again.